The NBA is off to a rough start with ratings plummeting and viewership dipping below WNBA numbers. So what's going on? What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. We are only a few weeks into NBA season, but it has already been reported that the ratings and viewership numbers are down, and they're down significantly. So the numbers on opening night, ESPN's opening doubleheader averaged 1.6 million viewers, which was down 42% from 2023's debut with Victor Wembanyama. Now, TNT's Thursday game, which was the Spurs versus the Mavs, that averaged 1.45 million viewers, a 29% decrease. And the Friday game only averaged 830,000 viewers, which was fewer than the college football game that was on ESPN2. So what stood out to me about these numbers is obviously we were covering the WNBA for the entire summer, and we honed in on some of these groundbreaking viewership numbers that Caitlin Clark was bringing in, and she actually averaged 1.178 million viewers for the entire season. Now, WNBA games a lot of the times aren't even on these big networks, and then even in her debut WNBA game, she averaged over 2 million viewers in that game. So the WNBA didn't even used to be close to NBA numbers. I don't care what day of the week you looked at the numbers, even if you were comparing WNBA finals numbers to regular season NBA games, the NBA used to slaughter viewership numbers when comparing it to the WNBA. So I thought that that was really interesting. And a lot of analysts and different people have started speaking out as to why they think that people just aren't as excited about the NBA season. So one person to speak out about it was Shaq.
I have a theory that it's down because we're looking at the same thing. Everybody's running the same plays at the damn top of the key, dribble handoff. I was talking to a coach yesterday. He said they want to shoot 53s. Because, they were trying to contemplate if I could play in this era. And it's like, yo, Shaq, you would just shoot 53s. And I was like, well, how much you want to make? We want to make about 10 or 15 of them. I was like, well, that's not going to help you win. But I think everybody's looking at the same thing. And Steph Curry and those guys messed it up. Like, I don't mind Golden State back in the day shooting threes, but every team not a three-point shooter. So why everybody has the same strategy? I think viewership will continue to go down unless we switch things back up.
On that TNT opening night, there were two games. There were 162 threes shot in those two games alone. Guys like Anthony Edwards right now are shooting like 10 threes a game. They were shooting half that last year. And when asked, what do you think about people that want you to drive to the lane? He says, F them, because this is what the coaches want.
162 threes throughout two games is kind of insane. But I would disagree with Shaq when he said that Steph Curry ruined it. In a sense, Steph Curry also saved the NBA. Maybe saved is maybe a strong word, but truly helped propel the NBA and get some more excitement beyond it. If you think back into like the mid 2010s when there was this huge craze around Steph Curry. Now, Charles Barkley also shared his reasoning as to why he thinks NBA viewership is down, and he had a little bit of a different tune, and here's what he had to say.
We have guys making $80, $90, $100 million not playing back-to-back games. That's, to me, listen, the three-point thing bothers me because, of course, if they're going in, you're going to win, but you got to have a plan B. But when that new TV deal kicks in next year, and you got a guy making $85 million, and he says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to play back-to-back games. It's ridiculous to think fans are going to pay as much as it costs to go to games now, and now you're going to have to go out and start doing streaming going forward. We can't have a guy making $95 million saying, I can't play basketball 4 days a week. That's in fairness. Most teams play 3 games a week. Let's say hypothetically you play 4 games. You can't ask fans to pay that money for a guy making $95 million won't play back-to-back games. Anybody think that's a good idea? They're crazy.
So one of the biggest headlines this season is Joel Embiid coming out and basically saying that he's not going to be playing back-to-back games so that he can be ready for playoffs. And Chuck has been someone who has been so outspoken about basically telling NBA players that they need to toughen up. This is their job. They need to go to work and do their job. They're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I do think that there has been this sort of disconnect lately between fans and basketball players, because when you hear professional athletes who are making millions of dollars complain about going to work, it's a turnoff. It's a turnoff to a lot of fans, and a lot of fans who are saving up money to be able to go and see some of these basketball games just to show up and not even know if their favorite player is going to play or the superstar will be on the court. And sometimes the reason that they're not on the court isn't because of an injury or an illness or something that's a legit reason. Sometimes it's just because they want to rest and they want to save up for the next game.
Oh, poor you.
So do I think that it's just three-pointers? No. Do I think it's just load management? No. I think that there's a myriad of reasons as to why the NBA just isn't doing it for people like it used to. So firstly, there's a lot of games. Players don't want to play in all of these 82 games, and the fans have a hard time keeping up with all of these games, and they also have a hard time keeping up with these games because the games are spread across so many different networks, League Pass, streaming services, ABC, ESPN, TNT, and then next year it's even going to be crazier. The rights are going to be spread to a million different places, and now I feel like, again, for the average person, buying all of these different places just to watch sports or just to watch basketball it's not realistic. We have always seen the ebbs and flows throughout the season of like when are exciting times. You know, it used to be the first few weeks of the season were a really exciting time and people were like, yes, basketball's back, I'm ready to go. And this year it just doesn't seem like that energy was there. You get another spike during Christmas, like Christmas Day games were always really exciting. You get another spike during All-Star, but now All-Star has also fallen off because it seems like the players don't want to be there. They don't take it seriously. There's no competitive spirit in the game. Now we're just waiting for playoffs to come around to get excited. Even myself, having worked with the league, and I start up my shows with the NBA soon that I will be doing weekly and monthly with the NBA, I wasn't so stoked for it to come around. Like, it's, you know, the biggest storylines that maybe we were following was the LeBron and Bronny story. But again, that's just a moment in time because Bronny isn't a developed superstar player yet who's getting a ton of minutes and seeing all this action on the court. There's, you know, Victor Wembanyama's storyline, and we even have a gem of a player in Victor Wembanyama who's 7'5". I've interviewed the man twice now. It's the tallest person I've ever met. You have a 7'4", 7'5" alien who can do everything. Now you see he's pulling up from logo shooting threes, and he's still just not pulling in the kind of viewership that I think the NBA might have been expecting, like we saw when LeBron entered the league, like we saw with the Kobe and Shaq era, obviously like we saw with Michael Jordan. Who is that next person that's going to pull this crazy viewership and get people to be glued to their television? Where's the Caitlin Clark? We don't have the Lakers-Celtics rivalry like we had back in the day. We don't have the Bulls-Pistons rivalry like we had back in the day. There are no more long-standing rivalries in the NBA, and those are the storylines that drive sports, and they're just not there, and they have to be rebuilt again. How are we going to do that if fans aren't so excited about the game, if players aren't so excited about playing regular season games, and they get more excited when they start ramping up for playoffs? Where is that loyalty and that excitement, and how can we find it? And I'm just not so sure. Lastly, you guys, I don't think the NBA actually has to worry about this viewership issue at all. Even if viewership continues to go down, the NBA will continue to make money, and here's why. Obviously, we've seen the deal that they've done for their media rights deal. It's record-breaking, but they have also started to expand more globally. We hear Adam Silver talk about the NBA in Mexico and then playing games in Mexico, the NBA in France, the NBA in London, the NBA in Abu Dhabi, where they're playing more and more games in all of these remote locations. You guys, there is still a crazy appetite for fans overseas to watch the NBA. The NBA is still raking in so much cash, and by doing these overseas deals and all these different places, I don't think that they're ever going to have to worry so much about if people are watching or not, if the energy around the NBA is the same. If they're still making money, then what are they to do? If they're still making money, the players are going to continue to make more money. And I just don't know if there's anything where they can put their foot down and be like, you guys have to play harder. You have to do better in the All-Star game, or we're going to stop having, like, there's nothing you can do when everyone's still making money. What are the incentives? You guys let me know in the comments below what you think about the NBA season this year. Are you excited about the NBA season? It's funny because I did a poll on my YouTube channel asking you guys what you wanted me to talk about if it wasn't women's basketball, and the majority of you said NBA. However, it doesn't feel like you guys are excited about it either. So you definitely let me know in the comments below what you think of this season, what the NBA could do better, what they should do better, or if you don't even care, if you're like, you know what, I'm waiting for Unrivaled to come around so I can watch more women's hoops. You guys let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, of course, if you enjoyed it, and click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week. And with that, you guys, I'll see you next time. Uina.